Good evening. You're watching Point Blank here at KTN News. In his book, Facing Mount Kenya, Mzee Jomo Kenyatta wrote an incredible story of how he traveled to Maseno. It's called the Maseno Shop, to meet with Jaramogi Oginga Odinga. And that is when, in the 40s, they began to discuss a strategy to fight colonial rule in Kenya. That meeting, Jaramogi nominated Ochieng Anyeko to be the frontman and negotiate with Kenyatta's people, paving way for the independence, constitution, and of Kenya becoming a free nation.
According to Fitz D'Souza, a lawyer who was at the Lancaster House Constitutional Conference negotiating table, Jomo Kenyatta and Jaramogi Oginga Odinga would spend many nights together alone, discussing their hopes and aspirations for what would soon become the new nation called Kenya. A trusted friend, Ochieng Anyeko, kept watch, barring anyone from interrupting the meetings. Prior to the Lancaster meetings, Jaramogi had been approached in 1960 by colonial governor Sir Patrick Renson. He was made an offer to become Kenya's first prime minister. Jaramogi declined Renson's proposition, stating that Kenya was already the people's choice. Instead, on 1st June 1963, Jaramogi would watch his friend lift up the documents of internal self-rule as prime minister and afterwards ride the streets of Nairobi at the back of an open Land Rover with Kenyatta, Tom Mboya, and Daniel Toroitich arap Moi. On 12th December 1963, 6 months and 1 week after internal self-rule, Jaramogi would again watch as Jomo lifted the new constitution of the Republic of Kenya. Barely 6 years later, after delivering Kenya's independence constitution, Jaramogi and other Kenya People's Union officials were arrested and taken to Committee Maximum Security Prison on 27th October 1969. The arrests and detentions and banning of KPU effectively made Kenya a de facto one-party state, confirmed in June 1982, when the National Assembly amended the constitution, making it a de jure one-party state. The Jomo-Jaramogi feud has shaped Kenya's political and constitutional history since.
When the retired President Moi was faced with a one single party state rebellion, he gave in and allowed Section 2A. And Mwai Kibaki, his successor, is credited to having helped to steer the 2010 Constitution.
From the repeal of Section 2A in December 1991 that had converted Kenya into a de jure one-party state in June 1982, and its reinforcement in 1997 that had introduced Section 19A, there have been a total of 27 amendments to Kenya's independence constitution. The 27th Amendment, Constitution of Kenya Amendment Act 2008, created a coalition government with the establishment of the office of the Prime Minister and 2 deputy Prime Ministers following the disputed elections of December 2007 and post-election 2007 election violence. The 27th Amendment signaled the transition towards an entirely new framework that would clearly ensure more checks and balances, decentralized power from the center with the creation of 47 elective county governments, as well as introduced a powerful Bill of Rights, among many changes. On 27th August 2010, following many attempts to correct the widely considered mutilated independence constitution, and a 4th August 2010 referendum in which 67% of Kenyans approved the proposed new constitution, Mwai Kibaki appended his signature to the new basic law of the land. 9 years on, a historic handshake led to the formation of the Building Bridges Initiative, a task force formed to relook at Kenya's shared beliefs, ideals, and aspirations, and ensuring that there would be an inclusive political system that reflected the country's day-to-day realities. On 26 November 2019, the BBI team presented their report to President Uhuru Kenyatta and former Prime Minister Raila Odinga at State House, Nairobi. A day later at Bomas, the BBI team shared their account with Kenya.
Good evening. You're watching Point Blank here at KTN News. Many scholars will look and write years from now, is President Uhuru Kenyatta and Prime Minister Raila Odinga, are they tracing their father's footsteps? Is this resultant BBI proposals after the handshake going to be the thing that changes Kenya politics now and for a long time to come? To discuss this in detail and to have a better understanding, we have brought in the master of ceremony of the bombers of Kenya. But before I talk to Mheshimiwa Junet Mohammed, what has he done before?
Junet Mohammed is the first ever politician of Somali descent to be elected in Nyanza County when he clinched the Suna East constituency seat during the 4th March 2013 general election. The former two-time Migori town mayor was just 35 years old when he beat out the incumbent. He has since then gone on to establish himself as a major force in the ODM party as its director of elections and, more importantly, former Prime Minister Raila Odinga's trusted aide. On 8th August 2017, Mohammed, popularly known as Ward Suna, meaning son of Suna, retained his parliamentary seat, much to the shock of his opponents, who had banded together in an effort to unseat him. Following the heavily disputed August and boycotted 26th October 2017 presidential elections that plunged the country into a period of uncertainty, Kenyans were astounded with the breaking news and live coverage streaming out of Harambee House, the seat of the presidency, on the morning of 9th March 2018. The political protagonists, President Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga, walked out together and publicly declared a cessation to all hostilities. Befuddling friend and foe, they read from carefully prepared scripts, citing that they would find common ground in the interest of moving the country forward economically and politically. The only elected political representative present at the historic handshake meeting was Junet Mohammed. Following the release of the much-anticipated Building Bridges Initiative report on 27 November 2019, Mohammed was given the honor of presiding over the ceremony at the Bomas of Kenya, Nairobi.
Good evening. You're watching Point Blank here. Mheshimiwa. Karibu sana.
Thank you.
Now, I want to just get right into it.
Yes.
After State House
Yes.
and the ceremonial receipt of the BBI proposition,
Yes.
there was a decision to have a public unveiling
Yes.
of the proposals. Why?
I think the ceremony at State House was more of a private function where the President and the Prime Minister Raila Odinga was supposed to receive the report from the task force committee. But this document was to be taken now to the public, to Kenyans everywhere, all over the country. So they had selected people, or people were told to come to Bomas from all over the country as form of representation. But the idea was to now take back the document to the people so that people can own it and read it and peruse it.
So mwananchi wa kawaida ili aelewe, katika kungamano ya Bomas kulikuwa na watu kutoka county zote za Kenya?
From all kutoka constituencies zote 290
Yes.
na counties 47. Wote waliwakilishwa Bomas.
Sasa mheshimiwa,
Yes.
wewe unajulikana kwa siasa kama shujaa. Na hakuna mtu ajui wewe ni mtu ya baba.
Yes.
Sasa ikakuaje that on that day
Yes.
of a presidential function,
Yes.
unveiling the committee's, task force committee's propositions on BBI, that this man, Junet Mohammed, as the senior counsel Abdullahi likes to say,
Yes.
the brave Somali.
Yes.
How did you become the master of ceremony?
You know, first I think you're not part of the people who have a problem with me being the MC there. I hope so.
No, absolutely.
Because I could see there are some people who lost the message because of seeing me as a master of ceremony. They lost their cool. But you see, this was a presidential function, as you said. But you have got to know that this was also a ceremony to deliver to Kenyans a document that was brought to Kenyans through a handshake between His Excellency the President and our party leader, Prime Minister Raila Odinga. So this was not a Jubilee function, Jubilee party function. This was not a government function. This was a political function that was supposed to deliver a document to Kenyans. And that political function came about because of the handshake. And when people were at the steps of Harambee House shaking hands, I think I'm the only politician you saw around there.
Yes.
So I had a role to play to deliver the same document that was brought through the handshake to the people of Kenya.
So you are the midwife?
I may not be the midwife, not really, but being around gives you some better
Mheshimiwa, this is
standing.
This is point blank. I have to ask you.
Yes.
There is the videos that have gone viral, and we have played it at the profile of this show, of the Deputy President William Ruto being shot outside a private meeting between Kenyatta and Odinga before the function began. Was this a deliberate attempt from the beginning, before the function began, to sideline Ruto?
I don't think so. You see, at the State House function where the two leaders received the report, the Deputy President was there. They were courteous enough to invite him and so that he can participate in the formal receiving of the document. But at Bomas, I wasn't there, but I think the President wanted to consult the Prime Minister on certain issues pertaining to the document maybe, or the handshake or such kind of things. And he has no role, in that. Being a Deputy President is different from these other functions of receiving the document that was through a task force that was appointed by the two leaders. So I think he might be on the wrong place at that point in time, because maybe the President wanted to consult the Prime Minister on issues relating to the day.
Why I ask that is that after he has been blocked to seeing the President, you then have this viral video of the President entering with the Prime Minister.
Yes.
And the body language was very cold. And, the Deputy President did not look like part of the function. It was very evident.
Even when people they were shaking hands at Harambee House, he wasn't there. So I don't see why he should be there when people want to receive their document. But like any other leader in the country, he was invited to participate in receiving the documents, which in the end he agreed and he said it's a good document. But I think the President must have been consulting the Prime Minister on the matter.
Let's come to your MC-ship.
Yes.
Sababu wewe ulishika mic.
Kabisa.
Na wewe watu wanasema you knew your strikers. Wewe kama Junet ulikuwa unachagua ni nani? Ukachagua kina mama wawili, wote ni watu wa baba. Mama Ngilu, Mama Waiguru. Ukaenda bandi hii kwa Joho, kwa Oparanya. Ukatoka hapo, ukaenda kwa Orengo. They say that you are actually calling the Prime Minister's men.
No, not at all. If you look at that list, those are people from different parts of the country, from different regions of the country. So, Kiraitu Murungi is not a member of ODM. Ngilu has got her own party.
Yes.
Orengo is the leader in the Senate, just like Murkomen. Joho is from Coast region. So we were taking people from different regions. But having said that, the issue here is, Tony, we are in point blank. If you have been bastardizing a document at the inception, at the time when the task force was inaugurated and put in place, calling it different names, Beba, Baba, Ikulu, building battalions and hooligans, building bridges, I don't know what. Why should you want to talk at the ceremony that we want to deliver a child? That you don't even believe whether it was conceived in a proper manner.
So point blank, the President's men and the Prime Minister's men were keen to safeguard the integrity of the document. Are you admitting here, this is point blank, ya kwamba mungetaka ama mungeruhusu guys to come there and pour cold water on that? Was that a deliberate decision? Because when I saw you, and we are friends for many years, when I saw you as MC, it was not just a coincidence.
No,
you're a gatekeeper.
No, I'm a capable MC, and I think I qualify to be an MC because the qualifications of an MC, me and you know, is how to address a gathering, and that I have because having been in politics now.
For example, Mheshimiwa,
but
you said katika desturi ya Wasomali.
Yes.
Kwenyu baba akisoma
nyinyi
mumesoma. Hiyo ni siasa ama MC?
No, hiyo ni MC because I was addressing a certain constituency that was worried whether they should read or not. So I was telling them you can read, but Baba will also tell us when he reads what he has read. So, but that was beside the point. The issue here is I had every right to preside over that function because this is a function that was a ceremony that my party leader had a high stake. as a leader of ODM because he's the person who formed that task force together with President Uhuru. And anybody who had a problem with it can go to hell. We have no apologies to make, by the way.
So sasa twende kwa huyo kwa kwanza.
Yes.
Anaitwa Kipchumba Murkomen.
Yeah.
Hapo mlianza kulimana. Now,
Yes.
I want to understand, before now, what happened so that it led to booing? He has been all over Twitter bringing up this matter.
Now you see the point I was telling you, that when you talk ill of something, and at the wedding you want to be the best man, it won't work. Look, when I called the leader of the majority in the National Assembly, Honorable Duale, instead of speaking about the document, the ceremony, the issues that we were to address there, he talked about people who are dividing Jubilee government, some of them working in the president's office, all of them are, work at those things were not what brought us there as ODM. Those are non-issues for us. We wanted to hear about the document. We wanted to hear about BBI. We wanted to hear about uniting Kenyans. So I had to make a disclaimer to Murkomen that please, I've heard the way your other leader has spoken. Don't come here to tell us the problems you believe have. That one, mnaweza enda nyuma ya tent hapo, mzungumuze. On your own. We are not party to it.
But you see what it was, you could not see as you said that, but the president was brought live on TV. Yes. He went, the president, I tell you, was ecstatic. Yes. he was throwing his hand. Then he was looking at his deputy, who could not see the joke.
Yeah, you see the president have understood what I have said, that we are here because of BBI. We are here to tell Kenyans what is in the BBI report. We are here to unite Kenyans. Some characters here came to tell us that some officials are fighting them in which office.
So,
the president was happy
because
that
I want to move on to several issues.
Yes.
The fact that the president reacted the way he did to your comment,
and
later in his speech he talked about he doesn't want to see divisions. Mama, sijui embrace, tanga kieleweke. Is this a message by Kenyatta? Because really a lot of these Jubilee wars or intra-Jubilee wars are in central Kenya.
Yes.
In his backyard, or Mount Kenya, as a region. As a seasoned politician, ili uweke hiyo, kwa sababu hata wewe uliweka hiyo mpira, for people to hear something about Jubilee, then Kenyatta responded to it. Is there a message coming out from Bomas to Mount Kenya region that Kenyatta is fed up of this?
I think what Kenyatta was telling his members of parliament who are in Tanga or opposed to BBI that you are on your own. He's not with them on that journey. He's on the journey of uniting Kenyans, bringing Kenyans together, and he has faith in the handshake and the BBI. So any other person in central Kenya or Mount Kenya area who's pitching for someone else for 2022 politics or opposed to the BBI, he categorically told them at Bomas that you are on your own. I'm not with you on that as your leader.
So I'm asking you point blank, Mheshimiwa, because you attended a function this week, just passed at Kirinyaga, and it was a function heavy with government. I think there were 15 governors and about 10 cabinet secretaries. It was hosted by the PS, Internal Security. And there were boos when Minor Commander stood to speak of the president and of BBI. As ODM and as partners with Kenyatta in the handshake, are you concerned that Kenyatta is losing a grip of the Mount Kenya region? And what you saw, because you were there, and this is point blank, is there a problem in the mountain?
Not at all. I was in Kirinyaga myself, and I also spoke about the BBI. And actually, I want to tell you that that was my first time to do politics in central Kenya, myself, properly, in a gathering of that magnitude. There were few people that were transported in the front there, purposely to maybe heckle people and such kind of things. But when I put the question to them that should BBI be handled through parliament or through the people, they all responded in big number, in which large, some voice that we want the people to should be people driven. So I think people are in illusion, living in illusion.
Why I ask this is because many people saw the booing of Kipchumba in Bomas.
Yeah.
And political insiders are saying that this was planned, that they were giving back what they got. So in essence, you have a group allied to the deputy president preparing to sabotage the BBI agenda or discussion. I'm putting it to you as to whether you think this will be now a routine, that these are the beginnings, if are they not, of a political contest. And I'm asking you as a handshake person, uko ndani, is there that viewpoint from the handshake side that the DP is not fully in and his people are expressing, not just privately, but publicly, opposition to the BBI?
First, if you ask me, I don't think the deputy president and his people believe in the BBI. I don't believe at all. I think these are people who are just trying to hoodwink President Uhuru Kenyatta, that we are together in this journey of uniting Kenyans and the BBI. But inside their hearts, they don't believe in the BBI. They think the BBI is trying to stop William Ruto from becoming president.
Mheshimiwa, you know this is point blank.
Yes.
Hatuwezi enda kona kona.
Yes.
Raila ni expert ya siasa.
Yes.
Wewe ni expert.
Yes.
Sasa tuseme kama tunasema. What I'm asking is very simple.
Yes.
Are you saying Ruto is against? You know,
No, Ruto is totally against the BBI.
So what are you saying?
I am saying the deputy president is not reading from the same script with his boss, the president. He is opposed to the Building Bridges initiative. Just the way he was opposed to the new constitution in 2010, where he led a brigade of no. He's just waiting for the right time to do it. And he has done it, actually.
So
it's only that the president is lenient with him.
This is what you're saying, but I'm asking, can he take a political risk that he goes publicly with this issue? He's watching you now.
He has to.
I know, he's hearing from you.
This is his document. This is his baby. It is him who gave us the BBI, to unite the country and to look into issues that affect Kenyans in totality. The 9-point agenda, national ethos, divisive elections, corruption, you know, all that kind of thing.
So as a senior member of the Orange,
it has the signature, you know, Luos call it koke. It has the signature of the president. It's not me who signed it.
So Junet point blank, as a senior member of the Orange Party,
yes,
you're saying to KTN News that you are not comfortable, or in fact you are saying that DP William Ruto is opposing the BBI report and therefore opposing Kenyatta. That is what you're saying.
Completely. All these shenanigans you're seeing them doing, they're just buying time for the right time. I don't think they believe at all in the process of the handshake and the BBI. And what they're trying to do is to create anarchy in the president's backyard so that the president, you know, they are undermining him in his own backyard, just the same way somebody could do it in Eldoret or something.
So you are saying that because Odinga is with Kenyatta, they are creating hostility in Mount Kenya?
Kapisa?
So Odinga is akanyage Mount Kenya?
That is what they're trying to do. You know, they're still living in the old days where you could scare Mount Kenya people with the Raila name. They don't know Kenyans have moved on. People have moved on. People have reconciled. People have realized that Kenya must become one. So they're still in the old school of scaring people with Odingaism and Raila in Mount Kenya area. I have been there many times. People have moved on, Tony. People are not interested in that.
Well, you're watching Point Blank here at KTN News. Mheshimiwa Junet Mohamed says it's not ODM's issues to sort out Jubilee's mess. And if Kenyatta was laughing, he doesn't say why not. But Junet Mohamed says they have seen that Ruto is not with them on BBI. You're watching KTN News.